Okay, yeah. Good morning, everybody. This is the February 2025 meeting for Bicycle, Pedestrian and Traffic Safety Committee in Portola Valley. I'd like to call the meeting to order. I hope everybody who is online can hear us. If somebody there can give us an indication, please, to make sure that's working, I would be grateful.
I can hear you, Ed.
Patty, thank you very much. We do have an item for you later, so thank you for joining us. And at this point, I'd like to call the meeting to order and invite our members to go through the roll call. I'm Ed Holland, I'm chair.
Kevin Welch.
Angela Hay.
Pat Bateman.
Caroline Vertonghen.
Thank you very much. Item 2 is for oral communications for any items that are not on the agenda. Please keep your comments short and sweet, and we will get through those. And if there is something following on from those that should go on to future agendas, then we can visit that as we go. So does anybody, you have a comment? Please go to the dais, turn on the microphone, announce yourself, and then make your comment, please.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jean-Paul Coupal. I live at 420 Golden Oak. I'm the block neighborhood watch captain. I represent about 40 neighbors in this particular conversation. I've also had long conversations with Lori Hunter and Greg, the owners of Alpine Inn. We continue having the problem at the bottom of the hill of Golden Oak of illegal parking. We have a heirloom fence, which is now broken, which is on town property, which we're gonna have to figure out how to get that fixed. We need to get this resolved before there's a major accident. We either put a no parking sign or we put some logs that are quite looking nice down at the bottom of the road. Now we've been at this for 3 years and nothing gets done. And it's a shame that the Alpine Inn has to put an employee on the weekend sitting there still today to make sure that nobody parks there. That's the amount of collaboration we get from them. They're also the biggest contributor to taxes to the town. We've arranged for them to rent the baseball field for their employees, which has been a great success, which is giving them more space. So we need to get this no parking or logs put there. And then the second question is, they still have not got an answer from the town. It's obvious why, but the emergency lane that's on by the football courts at the end of their parking lot are not easily ability to get open in case of a fire. So the fire marshal has said it, it's all documented, that if any accident happens in the parking lot and a fire happens, it's a fire trap. There's no way anybody can get out because the gate is closed. Nobody has the key, the key to the lock. The fire people have it. So by the time they get there, everybody who's in the parking lot just burns. I think we've learned enough about fires from LA. So what are we gonna do? Wait for an accident to happen? I mean, Alpine Inn should have a key. That thing should be, the gate should be fixed so it works. They've put 10 huge rocks there. Howard Young did that. So even if there's a fire, how do you get out? You got to move those rocks, and it takes 3 or 4 men to move those rocks. So, you know, we're just waiting for an accident to happen. So please, let's just put a no parking sign, put logs otherwise, and let Alpine Inn put their employees to sell more, make more money so that the town gets more money. So I'm talking on behalf of 40 neighbors. All of them are all aware of this. I've written to all of them. They're all in agreement. Nobody is not in agreement. But now we have no town manager, we have no public works, we have nobody. And let's just, you know, take an action before something happens. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your comment. I can certainly bring that up with our new interim town manager. His name is Mark. Thank you.
Is he online?
And I do not see him. Very quickly, we're not normally discussing public comments, but if you have one, go ahead.
How about we make a recommendation to the town council that they put a no parking sign up there, because it's our job to make recommendations.
We've started discussing that. I know we discussed a lot with Howard in the past. This is on our current agenda for lots of reasons, and also what goes on within the parking lot. So let's just add it to that, and I think we should set ourselves a goal to make a new recommendation as necessary. So let's do that.
I'm in agreement with Angela as far as just putting a no parking sign at that corner. It seems the logs aren't gonna work because emergency vehicles need that corridor. They have to get there, but a no parking sign. But then I wonder, is it possible to do a pleasant no parking sign as opposed to just the
We tried that on
standard?
Windy Hill. It doesn't work because people don't refuse to recognize them.
Okay, all right, never mind.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on. Do we have any more public comments for items not on the agenda before we take off to the regular agenda, please? I do. So yes, we can discuss that again. If we get to time, we have a very full agenda, so I do want to keep moving. Christy, very quick comment from you, please.
Yes, the Hawthorns, the lower barn, get utilized and upgraded and possibly more traffic. I'm wondering if this committee knows about it. It
I'm sorry,
hasn't.
Christy, to cut you off, but we are having a great deal of trouble hearing you. Your audio is terrible. Are you still there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
No, I'm afraid not. It's just extremely garbled.
Okay, I'll talk later, thanks.
Okay, if we need to, we'll come back to Christy. Are there any other members attending the meeting, non-members attending the meeting that have a comment? Nothing further. I have one very brief comment. I should let the committee and people know, in the light of BPTS not being asked to review directly the Priory new applications and changes in traffic flow, I wrote a letter to the Planning Commission from myself, but also representing your interest in BPTS having a full review of any safety implications brought to by new planning applications. It seems like there is not a formal mechanism for anything except changes to residential plots and their driveways. But in larger scale things such as Willow Commons, the Wedge, and again with Priory School, where there is a large potential change in traffic flow caused by new applications developments due to access by many vehicles, there's no formal process for that to take place. And so I've requested that we explore the possibilities to improve the protocol for reviewing those applications with regard to traffic safety. Caroline.
I think there is a process. We are we can recommend, we can actually send our recommendations to the town council. And that's what I thought we have been trying for the last 2 years.
We have, but there's no formal process for the planning commission to come directly to BPTS as a matter of course, which they do for a residential. A change in residential driveways would trigger that automatically, and it would be a requirement to come to BPTS. But for other larger scale, ironically, for larger scale projects, that does not appear to be the case. I don't want to dwell on that too long here. I just want you to know that a request has been made to explore whether we can improve that process. Thank you, everybody. I'll go back to our regular agenda. We have approval of the minutes. So our last meeting was in November 2024. The November 2024 minutes should be attached to the agenda packet. And I move that we approve those minutes as accepted unless anybody has an issue with them and wishes to see a correction.
I did not ask if we had access to the flock data. I asked if we had data to the, if we had access, I might have asked if we had data from our trailer. That's not the flock data, right?
No, it's not. That's separate.
Yeah,
It's a
I
standalone.
never asked for any data.
Okay.
So just delete the whole line.
Okay, with that, pending that change, I move that we approve the minutes from the November 2024 meeting. Can I just have a show of hands for that, please?
Second it.
Approval. Okay, the minutes are approved with that correction. Our next item, number 4, would be Sheriff's Report, and I do see Sergeant Taylor is with us today. Patrick, go ahead, please.
Good morning. So we have the end of year annual report for just the traffic stuff. The other information I'm going to send to the town involving the crime stats, that'll be posted to your town manager, I believe. But the citations and accident report stuff, we did last few months, so November and December, 16 and 25 in December for moving citations, and then parking citations in November is 21. December only had 1. Most of our CSOs were out for the month, either due to illness or vacations or holiday time. And then accidents. For December, we had no accidents in December in Portola Valley. We had 1 accident in November on the 23rd. There's a bicycle accident on Alpine Road at Indian Crossing. That should be all we have. Most of our parking citations, again, were on Willowbrook Avenue and that intersection by Willowbrook. Do you have any questions or?
I'll open that up to the committee. Angela?
I would like to have some sheriff's deputy watching the traffic between about 2:30 and 4 o'clock. There are parents who head very fast up Alpine to the school at that time. And actually, I nearly got knocked off my bike at 280 and Alpine if I hadn't swerved. There's obviously someone rushing to go and get their child from school, heading in a different way. But the traffic up Alpine at that time is faster than usual. If I can catch them at the speed with my iPhone, you can jolly well catch people. I think we want to punish people who exceed the speed limit.
I'll notify the patrol sergeants.
Yeah, thank you. I think that'll be a general call for any of our major routes in town, as any attention you can give to driver speed would be beneficial. Do we have any further comments? Caroline, I see you have a hand up.
Thank you, Sergeant Taylor. I think the report is very helpful when you mention which zip area that the citation is given to. I saw that on one report. It would be helpful to get that on all the reports. And then also, sometimes we don't get a follow-up. So if there's a major tragic or traffic or accident, you usually say that you will follow up the next month. Is there a way that people in town can read the results of your investigation?
Yeah, the issue with like following up on activity like that is usually it gets released in a press release through our website. So if you follow the sheriff's office website through Instagram or Facebook or one of the other ways you can get in on it, there's usually some sort of press release involving it to give you the basic information about the case. The hard part is when it's an investigation that's occurring, we can't release any information about the case until the case is resolved. So that would be like, potentially like if it's a fatal DUI or something like that, then it would be potentially years down the road. So that's one of the reasons a lot of follow-ups don't get occurred. Like with accidents, most of the time those are injury-involved accidents. We can't release any medical information. The accidents are resolved through the insurance companies. So it doesn't really have much follow-up. If there's if you're talking about the one in front of the church, is that the one we're talking about now?
Well, in November, we had an accident by Westridge, or perhaps it happened in
outside our
October.
house.
Yeah, the white, I think it was Toyota that collided with the trees with 2 people inside. That's a DUI investigation still accident, so they're still currently investigating that case. So we're not going to be a whole lot of follow-up to get back to you on the information without the case being adjudicated.
It's because in the past, I've seen a police release, but it doesn't seem to be consistent. Is this something that we should address with town staff or?
So we release press releases so that we can give people general information of what has occurred. and some of that stuff, I don't, if that's something the town's doing, I have no idea, but for the sheriff's office, we release a press release if it's something that we have local inquiry for, or if, the sheriff and them want to put the information out.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions or comments for Sergeant Taylor?
I do have a comment on this accident. It says P1 did not have a chance to slow down, which, you know, every cyclist should be cycling defensively at a junction. So I have seen 4 accidents at that place in 30 years. I just find it, I don't know what we can do about that, you know, slowing down a bicycle that's going at 50 to 60 miles an hour.
Okay, thank you. If that's all, I'd like to thank Sergeant Taylor. Also wish you a belated Happy New Year and hope we see you at our next meeting. Thank you very much.
I have a question.
Oh, Christy, I couldn't tell if your hand was up from last time. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I'm wondering on the, if there's, this is our only chance to talk with you regarding crime. So can you report on crime? Meaning break-ins to houses, etc.
No, the town has a meeting, I don't remember what day it's on, but they have like an annual meeting where they talk about the different crime stats. I deliver them to the captain and he submits them to the town. There is a crime report that goes out every year. I'm actually working on it right now.
Oh, because I'd like to hear it whenever possible.
But I'll reach out to the town manager and see when they're gonna have that meeting. I'm sure it's already scheduled, just don't know what date it is.
Okay, there's no other meetings that the sheriff reports on a monthly basis, so I'm not sure when this annual report is. Do you know what month it will be?
I don't schedule the meetings for the town of Portola Valley, so I don't know when that meeting is.
Yeah,
So
we just got a town manager a week ago. We hadn't had one for a while, so I'm just wondering when it will be reported on.
I think that remains to be seen. In the interest of time, please let's move along. Thank you, everybody. Thank you again, Patrick.
have a good day.
Item 5 is our Public Works update, but I'm not aware of anybody from Public Works able to join us today. Items for discussion there would be upgrades planned for our crosswalks. That would be at Priory and Portola Road, and the new installation at Alpine and Golden Hills that are planned. I believe through the grapevine, I've heard that our grant money to pursue those projects has been safeguarded, but that's sort of official, but I'm not quite sure. And I don't know who to talk to
I know
currently.
who to talk to.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Should I?
If you would be willing to find out more, I believe it's in hand, but I have nothing formal. I see Rebecca Flynn is online. Are you our current council liaison? I am confused about this and have not had any formal communication. Oh, you are. I see Rebecca's online. I didn't. You're Helen Malta? Oh, thank you. Could you introduce yourself briefly? Because nobody's told us what the heck's going on. So
I wish I had more hours in the day. I'm Helen Walter. I'm your new liaison with the council. So I appreciate what you guys are doing. Commissioner Holland, I would love to have coffee with you. Sorry, I'm behind.
sure. Okay.
Okay.
That'd be great.
So I'm a baby council member, just getting up to speed. I will check about your crosswalk money. You know, we don't want to claw back ever. Everyone's okay out there?
I think you're being heckled. Yes.
So I will check on the crosswalk money. I know we're having a hard time hiring an engineer, is my understanding. Because since losing Howard, so we have been trying to hire an engineer. Oftentimes you can't, our public works guys, we only have 2. So they should be able to do, I haven't seen the plans for your new crosswalks. I don't know if they're bulb outs or anything like that. If it's just paint, they should be able to do some paint, but I haven't seen our plans, so.
Oh, both are major installations with electrical work, so It's quite,
Yeah,
it's
that's
quite a
gonna
serious
take an-
engineering.
Yeah,
task.
that's gonna take an engineer stamp to get that done. So, and I will check, I don't know where the money came from for our crosswalks.
It's from the county.
Okay, so oftentimes,
Sean
depending on the
Charpentier.
contract with the county, the agreement, there is that the work needs to be done by X date.
Mhm.
I have a good relationship with the county if it's Transportation Authority. I'm assuming it's
No, I think it's Sean Charpentier.
CCK. Okay, CK. So can email Sean and ask him to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. That'd
Yeah,
be
yeah, yeah.
helpful.
So I'm
Yeah.
excited to work with you guys.
Great. Well, thank you and welcome, and thank you for being our council liaison. So in at the deep end, I guess. Okay. I guess the same would apply to our approval. There was council approval for additional signage at Windy Hill, Portola Road, but I'll have to pursue that, I think, another time when there's more clarity on who's able to get the work done. Moving along to our ongoing BPTS committee business.
I have a comment on the crosswalk.
Very quickly, please, Christy.
Yeah, the crosswalk's in front of my house and it goes across at Golden Oak to Alpine. We've been maybe waiting 3 years to get a lighted crosswalk because people have been almost hit there. Cars can stop, 2 cars can stop, and then a third car goes around where people on the biking area, and that's where people can get hit. So I just wanted to give the new council person background on that. And we are wondering who is our public works representative, and if there is a representative now, if they could come to this meeting so they can hear. There's been some fogging of culverts, and I've seen 2 posted, and I don't know the resolution on those. Thank you.
Right, thank you. We'll try and find out more as we go and things settle out at town centre. Moving on to our ongoing committee business. Just item I have 6A is setting of our committee priorities for 2025. And this goes hand in hand with a request for us to report those to town council. And there are 2 available dates to do that still. And I am remiss in not having followed up on this with them ahead of time, but I wanted to put this to our committee before we went forward with a discussion of priorities and then setting the date to report them. That will be February 12th or March 12th. So we get either in a few days' time or just a little over a month. I sent to you individually by email a list of what I thought our 2025 priorities would be. And I've listed most of those further down in items B through J here in section 6 of our agenda. But if we can decide on these today, I'm happy to make that report on the 12th of February, or if we need a little more time to defer that to the March 12th date. So we want to put that to a very, very quick discussion on whether we think we can get this done today, or if there's anything missing from here that we should add, or if we can go ahead and get this one set for the year ahead and make the best use of time. So your comments, please, and then we'll decide.
I would add, reviewing the draft local roadway safety plan. I don't think it's necessarily a priority compared with actually getting the right plans overall, because we need a bicycle and pedestrian long-term plan.
So you mean defining that plan rather than?
No, we need to get we need about 3 plans actually for the town. Okay. And so we actually need also, in addition to the local roadway safety plan, we need a bicycle and pedestrian.
Okay, are those actual requirements? Because this all started off
But
with.
yeah, the checkbox, the separate checkboxes often in grants. Do you have a bicycle and safety plan?
Oh.
Do you have a local roadway safety? The local roadway safety plan was for the county of San Mateo to apply for grants, and they've already started to apply for grants on that plan already. Okay, so that's almost moot. We have to approve it, but that's not a big priority. The big priority is to get a long-term, like 20-year bicycle and pedestrian plan.
I'm happy to put that on our priorities. Could you supply me by some
I'll give you
some verbiage
examples
for
of
the-
what other towns have done.
Yeah, just if we need to set specific targets for that, if you could just outline what each of those would be so that I can put that
Yeah.
in the reporting document, so they use the correct language.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's complicated. Kevin, you had a comment?
Yes, I think what you said in your opening statement in the oral communications, that you need a process. I thought we had a process, and I think that's a priority. So I would like to suggest what other committees have done. They have sent a progress report. So all the items you have on there, and then you list where we stand. So for instance, you have, when Angela was talking about the maps or the data, well, the most current data is CCAG. We have several data for that. Then we have to mention that the Alpine Corridor came out with another study, another CCAG, and that is, like all the residents have said, that is ludicrous. If you start a plan in 2017 for that one corner, and you plan it to 2030, that is, while you're building,
Yep.
and while you're adding problems, that is not working. That needs to be changed.
Can I interject for a second?
Very quickly, and but I do want,
It's my understanding that, excuse me, you want a priority of all the committee business. Is that correct?
that is
Yeah.
correct.
Okay, that's what we want to do today, right now, if possible.
Yeah.
Because we have to get on with our agenda. We're not going to have enough time. Maybe we have to rate each one of us, each one of these individual projects and decide what's more important. Is Alpine Road Corridor project important? I think it is, especially for evacuation.
I listed them here in a
So-
kind of one man's view of how I thought they should be prioritized, but if you feel differently about those, let me know as soon as possible ahead of putting the report together. Now, the brief I've been given for making a report to the council is 1 or 2 PowerPoint slides and a very, very quick sort of 5-minute overview, not a long presentation. So this isn't to discuss the details of how we're going to tackle the problems. It's just how we list the things that we see are important in our business and what those are going to be. And maybe say, yes, we've started some work on this, or there's nothing done, or we need assistance with these from different, but
Sounds good.
very, very top level kind of view.
But you're going to give a progress report under each.
Yes, that's the
Yes.
idea.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments on that? I was going to say, if there is something that I did not include on here that you think should be in the priority, or if you question the order of this, let me know certainly ahead of February 12th.
Excuse me. Oh, Windy Hill isn't on the list.
Yes, it is. Did I put that there? Actually, I think you caught me out. I had it on the public works thing, but I did not have it on this list. So yes,
Okay,
let's make sure that's there.
yeah, that needs to, it's back. It's.
Yep.
I have a comment.
Very quickly, please, Christy.
There's a crosswalk by Willowbrook, is that right? And some people have been commenting that they almost get hit there. Is that something we should be putting flags on? Because the flags have that Golden Oak going over to Alpine Swim and Tennis. It's something to consider.
I'm sorry, Christy. I'm having a very difficult time understanding you. There's a technical issue somewhere.
Okay. Just wondering if the crosswalk by Willowbrook across Portola Road should have flags.
If at the crosswalk at Willowbrook and Portola Road should have
Flags. because the flags have helped
Flags.
us.
I've got the script for
Flags,
the
got
flag.
you. Yes, that's a good point. Okay,
To
thank
add
you.
it to your
That-
list.
That's noted. Thank you very much. Okay, so the last thing really is to decide whether we can do this more quickly by 12th of February, or if we want to take longer. I don't think it's a complicated task to get this done soon and have it out of the way. So the council can think about what we're doing. And
I think we should vote now.
Yeah.
Or at least discuss it.
so it's just, I mean, we don't really have to vote, but it's just, we can agree to have that material ready in time for the 12th. And I can report back to town centre and let them book us a slot on that meeting.
Yeah, I think the 12, I think it'd be fine to just go with the 12.
Great, thank you. Yeah, I'm sure. We have the list. I just need to put that into a couple of slides format, so that's straightforward. Item 6B would be review of our draft local roadway safety plan. I know this is a somewhat time-sensitive initiative. And thank you, Angela. I know you put something together for us here today.
That's not for the local road safety
It
plan.
isn't? Oh, I beg your
No, the
pardon.
draft.
Oh, this is
what
different.
Was sent to us, okay?
Oh, it was. That's
Look,
correct.
We were sent
Been so long.
a roadway safety plan. And I thought that we were going to review it. I thought the ongoing thing today was to review it and just have the vote to say that's okay. They've actually put it in the report. And you know, it's just to say I actually disagree with bits of the plan. That's why I think we need to have separate bicycle and a pedestrian plan. And then the other plan would be our general plan for the town, okay? That says things about the Alpine corridor and so forth. But I think as far as the local roadway safety plan, it does what it needs to do, which is to say that we have a plan.
I mean, do we have to go into any great detail about it, or is it just this? Are there any unintended consequences from basically rubber stamping this?
No.
Or are we?
No, I don't think.
I mean, we only-
I'll tell you what, on the county plan, we are marked to have bike lanes painted green, okay? If you look at it, we might decide in our bicycle and pedestrian plan that we would prefer to have unpainted shoulders. And that's the kind of thing that we need to put in a bicycle and pedestrian plan. You know, the county plan is the county plan. And we haven't commented on it ever, as far as I'm concerned. We've never had any input for it. But the whole point of having their county plan is so that they can get money that then we can apply for grants, because there will be more grant money coming out. And so it's very important that the county, in a timely way, can just give everybody a plan. So if we just approve the plan, that's fine for them. They just want to have it as a chapter in their plan.
If I may ask a question, in your opinion, does that meet those minimum requirements?
Yes, I think it meets the minimum requirements.
Okay.
But I think we can do much better if we actually look at every single road in Portola Valley and say, how are we going to make this a complete street or not a complete street? And that's a different kind of plan.
Okay, thank you. That's nicely framed out, I think. Thank you for the explanation. So with that in mind, unless anybody has any further points on the draft plan, I did send that out some time ago, I believe, to everybody. I'm willing to put that motion ahead. We're going to approve a motion and then take a vote on recommending that adoption of the, recommending to the council that we adopt that plan. If we're in agreement on that,
I second that.
second the motion. Okay, and so can we have a show of hands, please, from the committee for approval of the plan? Okay, let's record that as unanimous across the panel. Helen. Oh, thank you. It's hard to
Can you
keep
go to
track
the
of all the
microphone?
screens. So. Rebecca, you have a comment. Go ahead, please.
Yes, I'm the liaison, or I'm on the whatever it is, the governing board for CCAG now, and I just had my orientation meeting yesterday. And interestingly enough, I'm glad to hear that your committee is working on the local streets and roads safety plan, Vision Zero. Because Sean Charpentier, the director, brought up that Portola Valley and I think Foster City are the only two municipalities in all of San Mateo County that do not have a formal LSRP. They love acronyms over there. And he said, I don't know exactly what plan you're evaluating because there's nothing in your agenda packet. But he said that there was significant decisions that need to be made in Portola Valley with respect to this plan based on what level of safety you want to achieve in the next 30 years. And so I don't know if that is part of what is in this plan that you're discussing, but it sounded, I haven't had I just got the materials yesterday, so I haven't had a chance to review them yet, but and I haven't seen what you're talking about exactly. So I don't know if you've had a discussion about, wanting to, you need to put into this plan, a percentage of reduction in pedestrian accidents, bicycle accidents, fatalities, you need to have sort of a goal and a vision as part of your.
Yeah, the Vision Zero will put in another plan. I am on the committee that gives out the money, okay? On the CCAG committee. So I'm well familiar with it. But with the Vision Zero and all that, we put in another plan.
Sorry?
We have a draft and we can just approve the draft as it is.
Yeah, but
Okay.
as far as I understand, it's quite an entangled process and we just have to take on these elements one by one as we go. This is one step in that process. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes, and we've been working on this for over a year now.
Great. I'm glad to hear that, but it would be helpful if you actually included the draft in your agenda packets so that,
I had hoped it would be, but I'm not sure how much was included in the agenda packet
It
at
was
the end.
sent
there's
out.
nothing in your agenda
Um,
packet. Your whole, the whole discussion of your goals is not in the agenda packet. And then this motion that you're entertaining, it's nothing in the agenda packet. So it's a little tough for those of us out here to kind of understand what's being talked about. But anyway, all right, great. Well, I just wanted to give you my feedback from CCAG as I'm I'm the representative for that. Thanks.
Okay, yep, thank you. Helen, did you have a comment?
Same, just it's hard to, without that you guys are voting on a plan that's not in the agenda packet is concerning. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I also have a comment.
All right, very quickly, we are running out of time. I have a hard stop at 9:15.
Okay, so we had talked about a third lane for evacuation purposes. Is this the right time to talk about it? If you
No.
are coming up with a plan?
No, it is not, but that is going to be one of our priorities for the future.
Well, we can't see it, so some of us out here can't see it.
All right, thank you. I think we've reached the point of all the discussion we can take on.
The plan was circulated to the whole committee members.
Yes, it was. It may not have gone into agenda packets though from the past. I can certainly make sure that goes in again. Well, but as it was a draft, so, it was probably on me that should have gone in. So if that didn't happen, I apologize. Item C of ongoing committee business is related to Stanford Wedge or Portola Terrace, if you prefer that name. And this is, I would put it to the committee to have a discussion ongoing. The appropriate use of the funds offered by Stanford University for the design and engineering improvements along Alpine Road associated with that new project. And if you're aware that at the last planning commission meeting, or following that last planning commission meeting for that project approval, Stanford revealed that they would be willing to make up to $100,000 available for improvements or design and improvements along Alpine Road. And so what I wanted to discuss here was what the committee regards as the proper use and how to recommend the way that those funds should be used. I don't necessarily want to decide that here today. This whole thing's quite a long way off from going anywhere. But whether we, want to discourage the addition of more studies, which just seem to sink money with no real results, or whether we'd like to prioritize the use of those funds for proper engineering design and engineering works, which is the way I see it. But I'd like your comments very briefly on that, and then we can leave this for future agendas as this comes up to be more relevant.
What's the process for doing this? Who do we have joint meetings with Stamford? We don't have a town engineer or public works director who I would think it be part of this, right?
Yeah,
And it seems that there has to be public comment, there has to be a whole lot of stuff going. So there has to be a process. Does Stamford lead the public comment meetings or do we? Someone has to design the improvements.
I think we need to clarify a lot of those things. What I understood was that that would be simply money in the town's hands to use as it saw fit. And so we would like to decide how we see fit.
I have one concern, Ed.
Go ahead.
Concern is that's a long corridor there. The average speed's about 46 miles per hour, not 35. And it's 40, as you know, in that particular area. It's a long distance to travel from the wedge down to the corridor where you have your first crosswalk. I'm thinking 10 years down the line, with the amount of traffic we're getting today, is $100,000 the amount of money that we need for a crosswalk that might be put in the middle of Alpine Road there. Let those children go across the street. I'm not quite sure.
How much money do we have? Do we know? 100,000.
I think potentially 100,000, but I don't think it's been
it's something
allocated
like
yet.
building a roundabout or other things. We're looking at millions.
Oh,
Absolutely.
right. So my understanding is it's 100,000. I also work in a public works department, so I'm pretty familiar with some budgeting. I also, 3 or 4 years ago, the roundabout in Ladera, one of them would have been 2.5 million, right? I also ran a back of the napkin analysis quickly to see how much it would cost to do something and expand another lane on Alpine Road from Alpine Inn to Ladera, to the city line, jurisdictional line. And it was about 5.5 million. Yeah. So I am not sure what people want from that Stanford project for the 100,000, but the 100,000 is really going to be an initial plan, engineering plan. Usually we budget about 400 to 600,000 for a plan, and then to build something, it's 800 per square foot dollars. So depending on how many feet you're dealing with, if you're widening, I personally, whether you're going to do a bike lane, like 100,000 is not going to go very far, but we have it to match. If we can get a grant, you can use it as a match to build kind of idea. So it's something. I
Thank
hope
you.
that helps.
Yes.
I think we don't have to make any decisions here, but I just want to make it clear that that's going to be on our discussion, for the year and for the next while as that project develops. Speaking personally, I think we can match two objectives, one of which is near term, which would be to improve the concept for the design of access and exit from the terrace project, the two street connections that would be made, and combine that with the possibility for improving Alpine Road to the 3-lane exit. So future emergency use of the road. If you, for example, if you made a design with a center turn lane, that could become that second exit lane as well. So you could meet two objectives with the correct design changes. Very quickly, and I'd like to keep moving through our agenda, please.
Well, that was completely wrong in the process because we were supposed to have a joint meeting with conservation and trails before that project was actually submitted to town council, and we didn't get that chance. So we have submitted our letters and proposals, and $100,000 is nothing. Whereas in earlier conversations with Stanford, and I'm talking, what, 5 years ago, they were willing to actually, at that time, they proposed that they were going to widen the bike lane on the other side because it's also their property. So I think there's so many mistakes in the process, and that needs to be fixed.
Okay, thank you. Let's move along, please. So further ongoing committee business, and because really I'd like to just go through these priorities, unless there is some update on safe routes to school, which is item 6D. Caroline, do you have anything from there?
Yeah, that's my thing. So once again, once we have the process, there's another grant coming up that's in June. So we have to, or the process starts in June. We have to have our liaison with the schools because that's one of the grants that needs to be submitted by the school districts. And then there is another one in August where our town engineer will be involved. So we missed again the February one because for some reason that invitation was sent to staff, but we didn't get it. So if we can fix the process, that would be great.
Okay, if you, any assistance or things you need from me on that, or contacting the school directors or school board directors or
I would
school
prefer to
principal,
work with the town liaison. Yeah,
okay,
town
thank you.
council liaison.
Thank you very much, Caroline. At least we have those dates in the time, those timetable dates, so that's helpful. Item 6E has been a recent interest in adding some wildlife warning and safety signage. This is obviously related to the death of a young mother mountain lion on Portola Road on the rescue of the cubs, which you may have seen. And there's been a lot of community interest in adding some signage to help with traffic awareness of wildlife in our town. So if there's any comment related to that, it seems like somebody there was step up, announce your name, please. And
Morning, I'm Jason Sala, I live at 20 Prado Court here in town. I've only lived here a handful of years, and I've seen a number of large dead animals in that exact spot. There've been a number of deer, there've been mountain lions, and there've been a few other things. So I think this is a pretty clear problem area. I think that we're pretty clearly a town that values this sort of thing. That's why a lot of people live here. And it's clear from what you guys have talked about all morning, and this is my first chance to come to one of your meetings, that this is not going to get better. This is going to get worse. And certainly as there's more building over in Alpine, whether it's Stanford or additional housing, more animals are going to be forced into this one kind of hotspot. So I think there's a risk there. I think this is likely a three-pronged solution. I think at the very least signs, and I've suggested online, these ones like they have in Yosemite that they put wherever a bear was killed. And they really are more than just a kind of telling you what to do. They're kind of a tug at your heartstrings sign. And I have sped before in town and in Yosemite. When I've seen those signs, I slow right down and then I suddenly stop caring about the people going past behind me. So to me personally, they're very effective and they're different from a normal sign. For those of you who don't know, these signs, the example I'm talking about is a yellow traffic sign with a red bear on it that says speeding kills bears. And you could have a mountain lion with 2 cubs, speeding kills wildlife, or distracted driving kills wildlife. I think it's a combination of signs. Somebody else brought up the idea of speed bumps or speed humps, which I think we all know are more effective. I think you're shaking your head, but still there are people, I think we know that the town is changing. The town is changing from people who do their own gardening to people who hire gardeners, from people who fix things in their house to people who post online to help someone fix their house. So there's a million cars here every morning. I'm wearing this because when my dog gets off leash here, I'm very concerned because people are going 50 miles an hour here, and that's how they hit mountain lions, and that's how they're going to hit cyclists. So a solution to lots of these problems is driving more slowly, and that's not sexy, but it's a safer, more responsible thing to do. And that may mean not just signs, but it may mean speed humps, and it may mean changing the speed limit, which is a reasonable thing to do. If you're in that big of a hurry, then reevaluate your life. And then I would also say that if the policies and the law allow, why don't some of us in private just raise money and put up some signs? And if that's allowed to do, I'm happy to start doing it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, you're talking to the guy who last week fixed the washing machine and the dryer, so I appreciate what you're saying.
Way to go.
I have one more very quick comment. Yeah.
I'm Sandy Welch, and I just want to talk about the wildlife crossing sign too, because my child was the one who drove on her way to school and saw the dead mountain lion on the road. Super traumatic.
Yeah.
Had been watching the mountain lion cubs with Dana. So I experience whenever I get an Uber driver taking us to the airport in the morning or bringing us back, they are speeding so fast up Westridge, up areas. I always tell them there are people walking here. There are, and this is sometime in the early morning hours. There are wildlife everywhere. I think we just have more and more people coming in besides workers and the Uber. Like, it's really a problem.
Thank you.
I've been here 15 years.
It's absolutely concerning. I mean, we've been looking at this now. I've been working on this committee
Since
for 12.
2017.
The concerns are the same.
We used to have much
Things do
better
get done.
enforcement.
I can speak to some things that are working. Helen, go ahead, please, and then we
Hi.
can move along.
Helen Walter again. I just want to let you know this coming Wednesday, the donation policy for the town. As you guys all know, we're in a deficit. I would love, traffic calming measures, particularly at our hot spots. We have, where the mountain lion was hit is also a prime area for accidents in town. But because of the deficit we're facing to pay for it, so we are considering a donation policy this coming Wednesday to start with until we figure out the fiscal situation for the town. But we are working on the fiscal one too, but it's all going to take, it's going to take a combined effort from the community to figure this out. With our current tax structure, we don't have the funds to do much. And that's why, nothing has changed in town pretty much, except for maintenance, right? So this is going to take some time. And one of the first steps is this donation policy that's coming to council on Wednesday. I hope that.
All right, thank you. But I think we're all kind of in agreement here that
May I make one comment? And
very quickly,
Okay.
please.
So I think that's an example of why it's hard to get things done. I think no one wants to just blindly give money to the town for something that you've said multiple times, the year 2017. So no one wants to just say, oh, here's $1,000. I hope something happens. Versus if I say, I am raising money, I need $100,000 to do 2 speed humps and 3 signs. Give it to me right now. We're going to have a fundraiser. We'll be done next month. And that's how we can get something done. So if the policy is the policy, fine, we can't do anything about that. But if there's an opportunity to be more streamlined and focused, the town obviously cares about this to a greater extent, to be frank, than they do about some other subjects. And it's an opportunity to just get it done. If we can do that
Absolutely it
part
is.
of
And I think
I'd like to make a comment.
very quickly, I have
Um,
3 more comments on
Bill
and I'm gonna-
Lane once said, Portola Valley is an ungated, gated community. I just came back from Pebble Beach and also from Lake of the Pines. They're gated communities. Speed limits 25 miles per hour. We can't do that here, unfortunately. We'd love to, but unfortunately, we don't have the power because the state regulates. I would like to see traffic calming done as soon as possible. We're going too fast in this town. I don't know what the solution is myself.
Anyway, I'd like to go to the online comments, please. I beg your pardon, Pat. Phone number 3056, please.
And it's Dana Breen.
Hi, Dana.
I would like the planning commission that the Windy Hill Mid-Penn Open Space has a conditional use permit for the parking on, for their parking lot. It's time for the planning commission to take a good hard look at the conditional use permit for the Windy Hill parking lot. And it could be redesigned. They could get another 20 cars in there. One of the problems is that, you can't see past all of that traffic parked on Portola Road. So we need to do something there. And it's time for the planning commission to look at that. And I don't know why they're not. Anyway, I just think our processes are so broken, and I want you guys to try to push on that a little bit. And then just in terms of the mountain lion situation, I mean, and being an ASCC commissioner, our town traditionally doesn't like a lot of signage, but I think that we should actually do a signage study. There are places in town where there are tons of signs that they don't need to be there. So let's get more specific and more powerful with our signage. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. Rita, I see you have a hand up.
Yeah, thank you for taking my comment. What are the restrictions on people putting personal signs on their property? I priced the mountain lion signs yesterday on Amazon, and they were like $7. This is not an advertisement for Amazon, but $7 and $10 for the simple aluminum ones. And people could possibly get them for their own property, because I know that there are, ways to do that. And whatever happened to that fund years ago that Jeremy was coming to, spending time on each committee's agenda asking for donations? Is there any money in that fund that could possibly fund something like this? Because with all of that activity in each committee asking for it, there must be some money, and I haven't heard any accountability for that money yet. But $7 on Amazon, and based on the rules for putting up a sign on your own property, people can do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Rita. In regards to your question about the fund, I do remember that initiative, but I don't know where it got to. So
Money is gone.
the money's gone, apparently. Although I see one hand up from Christy. Do you have a comment?
Yes, I wanted to let everyone know that I contacted Fish and Wildlife Wesley Stokes to try to get funding for the signs, knowing that we do not have funds. And he said they don't have funds either, but he said the typical way it goes for signage is DFW advises. So for example, if there's a deer crossing area with a lot of mortalities, then Caltrans or the local jurisdiction entity like the town have to follow road regulations and consult DFW about them and putting signs. So we typically respond with concurrence for them to put up their own signs if their maintenance division or public works staff note or pick up a lot of carcasses in a given area. So this
All right.
is directly from them.
Thank you. Very good. I think we're definitely in agreement that things can be done here. This is going to remain a reasonable level priority until we get some resolution.
And I've been asking for 2 years for the signs and even offered to pay for them in the past. So.
Thank you, Christy. Pat, one last comment.
I propose that we set up a subcommittee to review the signs, because I think that's a really good idea.
That's an excellent idea.
Go through, figure out what's redundant, what we don't want. We get space and the proper situation for the wildlife signs, because that is a great idea. And
I'm in agreement.
balance the two out.
Do I have 2 volunteers for the subcommittee, please? So I have Pat Bannon and Kevin Welsh. Thank you very much. That's great. I think also, like you said, sir, the emotive element of this is probably more effective in affecting traffic speeds than any other sledgehammer approach to speed, although some more enforcement would never go amiss.
It's a very good subliminal way of getting people to slow
Right.
down too, because it's the truth about the wildlife, and that's what we should be promoting in Portola Valley, is our love for wildlife and our concern for it. So
Okay.
this is
Thank you.
great.
Last comment on this subject,
Yeah,
please.
and I'm just wondering on the Sandy Welch again, when we enter Sand Hill Road, like I have horses at the horse park. I know about the horse that was killed that escaped because people go speeding so fast. I'm wondering where the town limit edges, if there can be a bigger sign saying you are entering a wildlife zone, like they go into the national parks, because that is where the corridor comes from, people exiting off the freeway, off of Alpine and off of Sand Hill Road, besides the signs that would be right in the town limits.
So I think
And
these
that
are
might
all things that
County
the
jurisdiction.
subcommittee could consider, to get a more holistic view of the what's at stake. Thank you, everybody. I know we're running a little over time.
Oh, right.
Our next item I put on here, I don't think there's anything further to discuss. There was a meeting for the Alpine Road Corridor project in November in Ladera. I think Angela, you and I both attended that. You have any brief comments there as well? So this is an initiative in between basically our town limit and Interstate 280. Does it go beyond? This is the Alpine Road Corridor project in the unincorporated portion and approaching Menlo Park section of Alpine Road. And there's a view there of what road safety improvements can be made to improve access and egress for Ladera residents onto Alpine Road, and also to improve the general traffic flow along Alpine and improve its safety. But I propose keeping this well within, well on our radar over 2025 as these things develop. In the typical manner of county projects, nothing here is going to move very quickly, but we do want to keep abreast of any developments and opportunities to express Portola Valley's interests in that corridor as a safety corridor, an evacuation corridor. Any other further comments on item 6F, please, or may we move on? I'd like to wrap this up in the next 5 minutes if we can.
Well, we can keep the meeting going because we've got a quorum if you're not here.
Okay.
I mean, if necessary.
Okay, I can take another 10. I think I'll be all right.
Okay, time to talk about Woodley Hill.
I didn't have it on the agenda except for on the previous public works, but yeah, you can bring it up.
Okay, I find there's a new problem with Woodley Hill in that people on Alpine, and is it Wonderlick, is that the intersecting street by the back entrance?
Oh, Willowbrook.
Or
Willowbrook.
The intersection of Alpine and Willowbrook, people had been parking on one side of the road there, and it was okay. Now, people are parking on both sides of the road.
Yeah.
And it is not okay.
No, this is well known, and the sheriff's department are aware, and I do ticket where it's appropriate.
So what I'm thinking is, and I don't know if this is a possibility, is maybe we as a committee could get a committee warning tickets that we could pass out and put on windshields. And on the ticket somewhere. We did it. Did it work? Yes.
That's why we had all the people on the
Yeah,
side.
exactly. So I think.
Had the
we-
sheriff's department on there and the town's
I
emblem.
think we need to
And I
do
used to
that.
go, I used to.
I ran out of them, but
Okay.
you can still get them from the town
Let's
center.
get our tickets going again because it is so dangerous. And that seems to be a really rapid response from people. They respond to that.
Oh, I had people piss me off.
Exactly, that's what you want. But I think we need to be doing that because it's really dangerous. I was horrified.
No,
That
that-
you see the cyclists going through with the cars trying to get through, and if there was a fire.
No, it's a tight spot there, and I know what
Yeah,
you mean.
let's get those tickets going again.
Okay.
Yep.
Would somebody like to volunteer to look at tickets? Oh, are you volunteering?
No, the whole committee should volunteer.
Oh.
We should all have them.
The town counts, someone in the town offices has the tickets, okay? Because I
Okay.
just went to the town office a while ago and said I wanted some and
With the town. we talked
just,
to.
you just go to the counter and say
We'll
you'd
go
like the,
after this meeting. We'll go.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
something like them, I don't.
All right,
actually
I
get-
know, I'd like to, somehow I missed the whole flipping thing. But I had invited Patty Dews to the meeting to discuss Alpine in Golden Oak and the parking lot at Alpine Inn, and somehow I've managed to not put this on the agenda.
It's on there.
It is,
Is
it's
it?
H.
H, I beg your pardon, I'd like to skip Priory School planning application because that's mostly beyond this now. And
Again, The process is wrong.
This is the basic subject of the letter that I wrote to the planning commission. So I'm trying to see if there are any avenues to resolve that, believe me. Patty, let's please discuss the Alpine Golden Oak parking concerns. Go ahead with any comments you have, and then we can take this on. But what I wanted to do here was to draw the two committees, Parks and Recs and BPTS, together to see if there is some resolution to the issue of sharing the parking lot that pre-existing outside Golden, outside the Alpine Inn and adjacent to Ford Field, not Ford Field, sorry, adjacent to Rossotti Field. And
Supposed to have 30 parking spots.
and there are supposed to be 30 parking spaces for recreational use. But what can we do to formalize that and make sure that that availability is realized so that the town folk and people visiting can use that space for the recreational purpose intended? Patty, I'd like to invite you to make a comment first, if there's anything we can say. Patty, are you still there? I'm afraid we lost you. You appear on the screen, but we're not hearing you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Right.
Thanks, sorry. Yeah, Parks and Rec has been working on this for many years. The issue has been that use of the soccer field has dropped off significantly because players, coaches, referees, fans can't find parking. And we have asked the town to work with Alpine Inn to renegotiate the contract, which is almost over 10 years old, to make sure that they reserve and set aside parking for soccer use. The town has indicated that they agree, but of course, given resources and priorities, this has not been done. And that's been our concern and our focus.
Okay, thank you. So the purpose of this really being on our agenda is not to try and solve the problem here today, but to show that BPTS also would like to work in support of this initiative alongside Parks and Recs. And I think we probably have the agreement of everybody here.
We do.
Okay. All right, thank you. John Paul.
I would, I'll talk to Alpine Inn as a private person. I'm sure if they put an attendant there with a kiosk just like that and save those spaces, nobody will go and park those. It's just not being done. They have people at the entrance of the Alpine Inn to make sure that they park correctly. And at the end, there's nobody doing anything about that. They have one guy also watching that nobody parks on Golden Oak. But it's just a matter of sitting down with them and saying, look, we need 30 spaces. Let's mark those 30 spaces. And they have to be reserved when there's games. And when there's no games, then they can use it. It's just a matter of somebody sitting down with them. And they're more than willing I will talk to Lori, I will talk to Greg, and I will do this as a good citizen, just as a neighbor, and make sure that this is done. Because if we're going to wait for the town to do it or anybody else to do it, it won't get done.
All right, thank you.
So can I vote for a motion that a subcommittee is formed
Absolutely.
to work with
Yes,
Parks and Recs, and I will be willing to?
thank you,
Mr.
Caroline.
Cabal? Yeah.
All right, moving along quickly, and thank you, Patty, for your patience today. I know it took a long time to get to these items. I'm going to, let's see, if we have anything from our Alternative Transportation Infrastructure Committee.
Short of writing an outline for the bike and pedestrian plan, which I think we can put together a draft without hiring consultants.
Okay, thank you. Our last item here then would be item 6J, which is an update on the town and committee letters of support and what next steps there might be for supporting the Highway 35 Skyline Boulevard privately funded initiative for safety improvements. We have sent letters of support for this project. This came to us through a gentleman named Ted Selker, who is working with a private individual who's interested in funding safety improvements on the corridor along Highway 35. I know previous town council approved support for this project.
don't know. We don't know.
We don't know.
Do we not know? I
It
thought they
came on
had
the agenda on November
Town
13th,
council for potential
but we have
approval. I'm
not seen the signed letter.
Yeah, it's,
November 13th, it was on the agenda. It was Mary Hefty, who used to be our liaison.
yes.
Brought it to the town council.
So,
It would be nice if you can double check on that. Thank you.
yeah, check with Mary. I'm sure she would know what's going on there. And BPTS sent its own letter to the body saying, yeah, that we are in principle in support of the initiative, but we are not actually making any promises to it.
I have a comment. Wasn't there a death in Portola Valley up on Skyline in the last month?
Yes, that is correct.
Another reason to consider this.
Yeah,
Can I just get clarification on where the letter that you guys sent, was it to the town council?
so
Okay.
No, we sent it to Delco.
so there were two letters. BPTS sent its own letter of support by agreement.
No, Eddie.
You get my email?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was good because I was in a meeting and I wanted to make public comment and
Hi, Dana, could
it
you
was
mute,
going
please?
longer and I got to make my comment. So,
Nice. Well, I don't know how hot the coffee is.
come on, let's
but I
go,
brought
go
you
in the living room.
Should I take off my shoes?
No,
No?
absolutely not.
Well, hold on. What is on the bottom of it?
Oh, you've got a little piece of paper.
Dana, your phone is not on mute.
Sorry, you guys. Bloody hell. There we go.
Thank you, Rita.
There were two letters.
There were two letters. BPTS sent a letter individually by agreement at a public meeting. There was also a recommendation from BPTS that the council send a letter, which BPTS drafted on their behalf. That was submitted to council for their approval.
Great.
Yeah.
I will follow up.
I
Thank
do
you.
not know the status of whether that letter was sent or not.
First I've heard about this letter, so I will follow up and keep you guys posted.
Okay, thank you. All right, we are closing in on the finish. Item 7 is our events, upcoming events for 2025. I'm not aware of anything on the calendar yet. The first thing we would see would be Earth Day or something like that, which we used to do in April. Town picnic and Zots to Tots won't be till later in the year, I suspect, again.
I would like to have a meeting where we put down ideas for our future, as part of a bicycle and pedestrian safety plan. I'd like to have the town hall with pictures of what we might do, photoshopped, and people putting little stickers on what they like and don't like. I'd like an evening like that.
Well, we could potentially have a special evening meeting, maybe in the spring.
Yeah, I think we proposed that in October, November,
Yeah.
and we had planned it in February.
Ah.
That's right.
We don't
We're going
have
to
it.
do it for this meeting.
I think, our next meeting will be March, perhaps April will be a good time for an evening.
Definitely,
give us time to
because
prepare.
remember, for safe routes to school, I need to have,
Yeah, that needs to be before June, is that correct?
Okay, so
we need the
April.
working time. Okay,
Can I have just 1 minute?
give me the last thing.
Could everybody in this council be available on the Palooza? It's very important. This town is growing as the circulation of music is getting to be broadbanded by people, different cultures, and they're coming out here. We have a problem with parking. We need everybody in this council to be available that day. We're getting, I don't know, over 2,000 people out here.
Yeah, that was a struggle, wasn't it?
Last year was a struggle, believe me.
Okay, if there are no further items,
One question, what do I tell my neighbors and everybody in Alpine Inn about what we're gonna do about putting a sign at the bottom of the hill?
we're still,
For years, but nobody tells us what you're gonna, is it gonna be coming up for a vote? What are we gonna do? Wait for an accident to happen? What do you want to do? How do we proceed? What do I tell the neighbors? What we're gonna do?
at the moment, it's still on our agenda. We need to have a people in public works that can have a proper discussion.
It's
I
a
mean, I
sign
don't believe
this
there's an
big.
assigned public works person yet.
The
so-
pole is there. To
Yeah.
put the sign up. We're willing to pay for the sign.
No,
We have the
we
signs.
have
in-
the signs in the
they're in the shed.
Okay, we're willing to
They
pay
don't-
for the sign. We don't want to have Alpine Inn have an employee there 2 weeks of the month. We don't want to have an accident. We don't want to have pedestrians crossing the street. I mean, you know all the problems.
Yeah.
So what do we have to do to put a sign there? What is it?
What about the commissioner?
Okay. We got to find a legal way to do it so that it doesn't set a precedent so that people won't say, hey, look, it's here, but it's not there. But we are now getting into the spring, into the warm weather, and this is an accident in the making. So we need to make a decision.
What
And
about the
off-
powers?
And I didn't bring in Officer Taylor, who's done an amazing job with all of us. But I mean, every time to call Officer Taylor to give a ticket, which you can't give a ticket because there's no parking sign. I mean, this policeman should be circling the area, not worried about parking at the bottom of Golden Road.
Yeah, Helen, could I make a recommendation that we put a temporary sign? I don't know who would put it out there, but maybe we give it to Alpine Inn and they put it out there rather than that other temporary sign they have.
Right.
Yeah.
Going down Golden Road.
So
Be on a-
February 12th.
Why
It
don't
it
we
would be
just
on a
vote on-
stanchion, it's temporary, we have them in the shed, like everybody said. All it is giving them to Alpine Inn and they put it up there when they're,
Well,
Right.
we can't,
Operating
yeah,
the
we
restroom.
can't hold a vote unless that is agendized. I could agendize
Well,
that
it
for
is
the next meeting.
it's agenda that we do something with the,
Alpine?
it says the Alpine corridor, and it does say we don't have a motion to vote, I guess, but
So,
can't we vote on it anyway?
no,
It is agendized and we can present it on February 12th with our process.
yeah, I recommended this before, about 6 months ago.
Yeah, this has been 3 years before the sign.
there's no reason we can't recommend the use of temporary signage, so.
I don't know why we don't recommend that they just put up a regular no parking sign. I mean, that is a no-brainer. We have the signs. It's not going to cost anything. We could do it on a weekend, just go out and put one. I mean,
The Alpine Inn with their ladders and myself and Greg, the owner, will put up the sign and it will be in peace. And then the police can enforce. The police cannot enforce if there's no sign. They cannot do anything.
But there had been a long ongoing, I will do the devil's advocate argument, there had been a long ongoing point of view that there is no reason not to allow parking there.
There is no place, here we go again. There is no place at all for cars to park there. They've broken the fence. There's no way a car can park there without having wheels on the asphalt.
Right, okay.
So it doesn't work. It has nothing to do. And the heirloom fence technically belongs to the town because it's within the X amount of feet, which now has to be repaired, which the town has no money. Then we're gonna pay, the neighbors are going, go ahead and pay for that fence because it's quite beautiful. But at least if we have a no parking sign, the police can enforce. And people will respect it. But right now, Alpine Inn, for 2 weeks of the month, puts an employee sitting there all day. So nobody can park. They're collaborating with us. But that type of money should be invested in marketing so they have more sales, so the town gets more
Okay,
money.
thank you. I don't appreciate the end of my meeting being torpedoed like this, but I do understand your frustration.
Okay,
So
so
let's
what's the
see.
conclusion? Because we have a city councilman. Can we, Angela, pass something
I
today?
would certainly recommend that if you think that if Alpine Inn still supports not having people park there, we put a temporary sign there for the time being, and then we agendize recommendation for official signage.
Okay. Everybody agree?
Yeah.
Yes,
Right?
Motion.
Okay.
well, we can't vote, but I mean,
Right, it's on the
on a-
agenda.
on a temporary sign, it's not, neither here nor there, honestly, so. Thank you.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
And with that, I declare our meeting adjourned. Our next regularly scheduled meeting would fall on March 5th, at the same time and place. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thanks, Ed.